Yo, what's up? In this video, I'm going to be giving my client a low taper. I'm going to show you guys exactly the steps that I take in order to achieve that. So stick around to the end so that you do not miss the final results. I first started off by combing the hair up just to lift it off of the scalp, but now I'm going in with a number 2 guard with the lever completely closed, giving my client a true number 2 on the top because that's what he wanted. And this right here will keep the waves darkest, a little over wavelength, but not too much left so that you can actually get a clean idea of the wave pattern. While going against the grain could take the hair lower, so right now I'm just going with the grain, and that's just following the waves, the pattern that's actually laying down in, so that I can get the natural look at that true guard length. I want to follow each wave pattern at its exact direction that it's laying, just so that I don't gap these waves or create inconsistencies throughout the actual wave pattern. Going with the grain usually depends on the client's hair growth pattern or the way that they brush their waves. So in this case, my client, as you can see, his waves are just going in a 360 pattern all the way around from the crown into the actual hairline. You want to go with the grain, meaning going from the actual crown to where it starts to the actual line where it will end. Here I'm going in the back, just using the lever completely closed on my Babyliss and Tune 45 clippers. Setting in my first initial line with the lever completely closed, again, just balding out everything under that and setting a solid foundation for this taper. Here I'm going in with the lever completely open, going up about a full inch just to give myself room to blend into this and make it as gradient as possible. Here I'm going in with the number 1 guard with the lever completely closed, going up another full inch. Again, spreading out the taper just so that I have room to come back and take out those lines. As you can see, I'm going with the grain again here just to be able to smooth it out without taking off too much towards the top. Again, with the 1 guard, just lightening it up because I know this right here will allow me to smoothly transition. And as you see here, I'm going in at the top of the taper, using very light pressure and combing the hair back down to its natural position, using the heel of the blade on the guard. I'm just using the shape of the back of his head just to ride off the back. And now I'm dropping down to the 0.5 with the lever completely closed on the corner of the blade, just detailing any dark spots or inconsistencies, keeping in mind that at the very bottom his waves does go all the way down, so it's inconsistencies that could appear like a dark spot, but it's actually just a wave. And so I'm keeping that in mind here. Right up under that 0.5 with a half guard, I'm going in with the lever halfway, right in between where I set the guideline in with the lever closed, and then I went up completely open. Now I'm right in between that with the lever halfway, and I'm only going up halfway just to nudge the very bottom line and completely take that out. And closing the lever if needed, or as I go higher in the taper, I'll open up the lever just to take off less hair. And as you can see, the corner of the blade again, just detailing any dark spots I couldn't get out with the half guard. Same exact steps here on the side. I'm going in, and I want to start low. I usually start around where the eye ends and the ear meets the head, and now I'm going in with the lever completely open, going up a ½ inch this time just so that I can control this small area. Now I'm going in with that 1 guard again, going up another full ½ inch, but I just want to be able to start using the shape of his head in order to gradiently transition into the waves without taking too much. And so now you'll see I'll go in with the lever completely closed with the 1 guard, just debulking the top, essentially leaving the very top alone, but I just want to smooth it out as much as possible. .5 guard here again. I'm going at the very bottom where I put in the lever completely open with no guard. Now I'm just nudging at that very bottom line. Back to no guard here, and I'm just detailing using very light pressure. Again, on the corner of the blade, just so that I can manipulate the hair in the dark spots in this small area that I have to work with. Same exact steps here on the other side. Completely closed, fully open. One guard closed. And mind you, you can start to see that this is the highest guard that I'm going to use. And now I'm just going to go with the grain here just so that I can soften up the very top and debulk, if you will, so that I don't take it up too high and I don't want to start cutting into the waves. Also, you can see his C-cup area is a little less dense. And so I'll have to debulk a little more in order to make that smooth right there, in order to line it up and make sure that I don't push the hairline back. That's just using the one guard with the lever completely open. Again, using the heel of the blade will allow you to be able to go up a little higher, but also create smoother transitions. And the lighter pressure that you use, you obviously could take off less hair in a higher portion of the taper or the fade. You can go up, but use lighter pressure and still leave more hair than versus just digging into it and using the teeth completely flat on the head and taking it up way too high and taking off too much hair rather. Flicking out at the very bottom with the lever completely open, and then I'm gonna work my way halfway and then closed. Again, pressure is important only because, as you can see here, I can go up higher in the taper with no guard at all and still manipulate dark spots. Dropping down here. And just staying consistent, allowing myself to stay consistent in a small area and just maintain that focus, because a lot of times you do have to go over a small area a certain amount of times or over and over again in order to get the actual look that you're going for. But you also want to manipulate the dark spots and make the hair appear blended. Here I'm going over top of the ear, starting to arch, and I'm just gonna just drop back to the bottom, the very bottom, and line up the neckline, essentially connecting these two together. And the reason that I'm going in this way is because this is technically against the hair growth pattern or against the grain on the line. And when you go against the grain, when you line someone up, it actually creates a sharper line, depending on how sharp your trimmers are. Typically, if you go against the grain, you're gonna cut more. And so I find it just as a easier tip for myself. If I don't have the sharpest trimmers, I just go against the grain on the line. And that just allows me to sharpen that edge even more on the first time around. And here you just want to connect the lines, even though it's a half a circle or a rounded line or rounded edge on the top of the ear. You just want to be able to connect it to that straight line on the nape area, just to allow everything to look uniform. So here I'm following up from where I left off with the straight line on the top of the ear, and I'm just going to work myself into that curve using one edge of the blade and just allowing my pivot point to guide me around the top of the ear and keep that natural shape without taking off too much or going too high in it, making it grow back weird or inconsistent. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, as we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. I appreciate you guys for watching. If you made it this far, please leave me a comment down below and I'll be sure to get back with you. And subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell so that you'll be notified every time that I drop a video just like one of these. As I mentioned earlier, the C cup is a little more weaker. So as you can see, I started the very bottom and started the very top at the darkest point and the most fullest point, and then I worked my way in between there, connecting the two. Same exact steps at the very top where it's the most dense and the darkest, and I can get the most natural line, and I just connect it too. vertical bars, just punching them in. As you can see, they're not the most darkest either. So here I'm going in, just creating a safe place for me to go execute at a high level and just take this haircut to the overall next level, allowing myself not to overcut this and play my part. The reason I go in with the vertical bars is because, as you can see here, I can just go from the middle and work my way out and connect it to the very top of that vertical bar. And now you can see there's more even and straight line and symmetrical. Most importantly, because I set the foundation in with the C cups first, working my way to the other side here, just connecting the dots. And notice how I didn't take it back to where it would be the most fullest technically, just to preserve his hairline. This the final results, and if you learned anything, share this video with a friend, family member, or fellow barber. Hit subscribe, turn on the bell. My name is Kel, and I'll catch you in the next one.